Okay, so we're going to do addition and subtraction of decimals today. Just a little quick note. Remember, you have to watch the video all the way to the end. Otherwise, it doesn't show you've completed it. So just let it play out. Second, the assignment will post at 9 o'clock every day. Okay? So video at 8, assignment at 9 every day. Okay, so adding and subtracting decimals. First thing you need to know is to line up the decimals and the place values vertically. So that means everything will be lined up nice and neat. Okay? Next thing, and this is important, you wrote it in your notes yesterday, so it should click with you that it's super important. If a number does not show a decimal, it is understood to be at the end of the decimal, or end of the number. If a number does not show a decimal, it is understood to be at the end of the number. So in the number 4,376, the decimal is at the end, behind the 6. The number 7, this says $7. Well, when I add the decimal to it, it still says $7. Okay? The decimal is moved behind the 7, and then you add the zeros. So if a number does not have a decimal, it's understood to be at the end. Step 2, fill in all the holes with zeros. Okay? Fill in all the holes with zeros. Once you fill in all the holes with zeros, you can move on to step 3, which is add and subtract as usual. Add and subtract as usual. Move the decimal into the answer lined up with the problem. So the first problem is 42 6/10, and we're going to add 31 74/100. Okay, so we've lined up the numbers, lined up our decimals. Okay, we're going to fill in the holes with zeros. Because if you don't fill in the holes, you're tempted to just bring that 4 down, which would be incorrect. Okay, so make sure you fill in the holes. All right, so 0 minus 4 I can't do. So I'm going to borrow from the 6. It's going to become a 5. And the 0 is going to become 10. Now I can take 10 and subtract 4. I get 6. Okay? And then 5 minus 7. If you have 5, you cannot take 7 away. You have to borrow, because otherwise you'd get a negative number. So we're going to borrow from the 2. It's going to become 1. And 5 is going to become 15. And then 15 minus 7. All right? Now, we're going to take these decimal and we're going to line it up by putting the decimal in the answer. Now, 1 minus 1 is 0. 4 minus 3 is 1. So your answer down here is 10 86/100. So I rewrote the problem vertically. I lined up the place values in the decimals. I filled in the holes with zeros, and then I subtracted, bringing my decimal down into my answer. Okay, let's do a couple more examples. So I have 54 3/10 minus 21. Okay, 21 is a whole number. So 54 3/10. Okay, the 21 has to be a whole number. There's no decimal. This is where it's really important for you to remember that because the 21 does not have a decimal, it belongs at the end. Okay, because if you were to write 21 and subtract, you would get that answer wrong. Okay, because 21 is a whole number. So 21 needs to be placed under the whole number 5 and 4 with a decimal, and then fill in the hole with a 0. Okay, if you don't put that decimal in, if you don't line that 21 up under the whole numbers, you will get your problem wrong. Okay, 3 minus 0 is 3. My decimals are all going to be lined up. 4 minus 1 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. So 33 3/10. Okay, now 42 76/100 plus 31 746,000. Notice I did not try to put all 3 of these digits here underneath the 76. I gave myself some room. Okay, so there's a 0 I need to place, and that's right here to fill in the holes. Okay, and now I can add as normal. 0 plus 6 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Carry my 1 over. The decimals are all lined up. 2, 3, 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. I don't know why I put a number sign there. 74 and 506 thousandths. I don't know why I was putting a dollar sign. So make sure you are lining up the numbers and the decimals. You are adding a decimal to the end of a number if there's not a decimal. You are adding zeros to fill in the holes. And then when you add and subtract, you make sure you bring your decimal down in your answer. Okay? Make sure you watch the video to the end and then hit finish.